Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, and welcome back to Inter Games for another Reddit React. Today, we're going to be reacting to this post that was made about all the first 50 gods being confirmed on the Titan Talk earlier this week. I'm personally super excited about most of them. I think most of them are very good choices. There are a couple that I wouldn't personally agree with, but we're going to have a look at what the community thinks on this Reddit post. It's got over 250 comments. And so we're just going to be reading through, get the general consensus about what the community thinks about the first 50 gods, and just generally like how much excitement is out there about it and stuff like that. So let's just jump right in. So Kilgoon commented here saying, disappointed you didn't share all the slides of the PowerPoint that I obviously spent a very long time working on. Yeah, if you watched the Titan Talk, they had a very funny PowerPoint with like classic like 2000s animations and like Christmas stuff. It was pretty funny. But first up from Magic Fighter here, Hun Batz is definitely a pick that I didn't expect to be added so early. This is definitely something I agree with. Hun Batz surprised me a lot. This guy says Hun Batz is one of the simplest kits in SMITE, a very new player-friendly god. Him being the early edition makes complete sense, and I do kind of agree with that, but honestly, I did not expect Hun Batz to be first 50. If we look over on SmiteMaster.com, this is a very good website for checking out like general stuff. You can check out like ranked win rates and all that kind of stuff, but you can also just go to casuals and check pick rate and then go see what kind of gods are really popular at the moment. And you can see that Hun Batz is all the way down at the bottom of page 12, and there is 8 per page, so that's going to be position 96 out of 130 for popularity with Hun Batz. And that's kind of why I was surprised on it. You know, I don't think he's a bad addition particularly, because he is a pretty like fundamental basic jungler that's relatively easy to get into. But yeah, not very popular god at all. You know, a lot of these gods that are further down here. Then again, Rama's not popular either, and I would have suggested Rama is coming. And of course, there are more decisions to be made than just is the god popular. You know, even if you go all the way down to like some of the most unpopular gods in the game, they're probably not going to necessarily be the last. I mean, Jingwei, you can see right here at the moment, is like bottom 10. Yeah, she's bottom 10 popularity, but she's still in the game. So yeah, there's definitely other things to look at just than popularity, but Hun Batz was a surprising pick to me as well. Awelix, Morgan, and Changa, my queens, I'll miss you. Also, I haven't kept up with data mining as the new SMITE 2 god going to be Aladdin. No comment. Yeah, Awelix is one I definitely want in. Morgan, I personally find a lot of fun. I know people think she's very frustrating to play against, and I can definitely see that argument. She has a lot of self-peel and is way safer than she ought to be, really. But yeah, Awelix is one that I hope we get really soon. I definitely want to try her with the Scepter knock-up item where you can just knock people away, pull them straight back in, get a free knock-up. Changa can wait, though. Changa, honestly, I would be fine if she was like one of the last 10 gods added, dude. I really hate playing against her. Maybe it's the SMITE 1 meta, you know, recently where she became like the best god in the game. But honestly, Changa is super frustrating to play against. I would honestly rather have Hell and Aphrodite in the game than Changa, I think. I know this post is going to be flooded with people bitching that their favorite god isn't here, but I'm glad they realized their plan initially was not going to work. They're working hard as fuck to deliver us these 50 gods, and I hope they know they're appreciated. Yeah, absolutely. Give your love to the dev team in like the Titan Talk streams and all that kind of stuff. They're working super hard to kind of get what the community wants into the game. Now, this was not their plan initially. They were probably planning to release, you know, a couple of gods every like 3 weeks maybe, and now they're doing 3 gods every 2 weeks. They're working really hard to sort of like get the god roster up, because that was like one of the main problems with the game. It's just every game felt the same. You're just playing against the same god every time. And I've already noticed a massive difference, even with there only being, I believe, 31 or 34 gods in the game at the moment. And so yeah, by the time we get to 50 by January, hopefully the pro tournament will be more interesting. There'll be some more unique picks, and our games in general in casuals and ranked will be more interesting. This guy says, yeah, the last 2 months has taken the game from bet. I guess I'll play some SMITE 2 if I have nothing else on. Oh god, I can't wait to finish work and play SMITE, and it's only getting better from here. Yeah, I definitely share this guy's sentiment. A few months ago, the game was just like, I'll play it. It's kind of fun, but I'm likely going to get bored after a couple of games, and I'm mainly playing it for content. But now, like, the game has gotten so much better. The varieties are so much better, and it's only going to be up from here, as this guy says. Like, once they finish with this 50 gods push, they're going to start doing a ton more stuff in terms of like amping up other aspects of the game, like the conquest map, new game modes, systems, menus, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be really sick. I'm super excited for the future after they get these 50 gods in. Can't wait to see Hun Batz not look like a homunculus. Yeah, dude, maybe the UE5 can do us some love. It's weird that Hun Batz and Cabrakan are making it so soon, especially Hun Batz making it sooner than Wukong. I really wish they'd doubled down on Cabrakan and make him a pure strength bruiser. I think it fits his brute playstyle a lot. Overall, a good roster, albeit is missing some very skill expressive gods that I guess will be free to play hypers like Scylla, Gilgamesh, Arthur, Merlin, Maman, Giannis, and Aokwang. So yeah, we talked about Hun Batz. It is surprising that Wukong's not in the game either. I think Wukong would have been one of the best solo laners to add, because he's very basic, easy to get into, a very fundamental god that can teach you the game very easily, in my opinion. Cabrakan was another one that was surprising to me. I guess we can check Cabrakan's popularity. Let's see if we can find him on here. Yeah, Cabrakan's bottom of page 9, so that will be position 72 out of 130 30, so not immensely popular, but a tiny bit below average for Cabrakan. But yeah, as we said, he also fills kind of a unique role as that really aggressive, in-your-face bruiser guardian. He can also play at least 3 roles, jungle, solo, and support. You could argue he can play mid as well, and in SMITE 2, there's probably even a higher chance that he'll play mid with the role flexibility they're implementing. And so while he isn't immensely popular, I can see Cabrakan really filling a niche that they want to fill, and also he's a very flexible god, and getting more flexible gods in is also a priority, just because if the gods are more flexible, you're going to be able to play more playstyles with the same amount of gods. And really upping the amount of playstyles that you can do and ways you can play and the variety of matches is really like what they're trying to achieve here. So if they can add a god that can play 4 roles instead of adding a god that can play 1 role, that's generally going to make the game feel more varied. I do agree on missing some very skill expressive gods though. We haven't really gotten a whole lot of super skill expressive gods at the moment. Ula and Yamoja, I would say, are the only 2. Well, Yamoja we've got, Ula we're getting soon. Probably the only 2 that are like super skill expressive. But there is also the caveat that generally skill expressive gods are more complicated and harder to implement into the game. You know, you've got stuff like Yamoja with her Omi system that's completely unique and no cooldowns. You got stuff like Tiamat with like 15 million different abilities. You got stuff like Ula where you have to make the animation cancelling and like ability combos super crisp, otherwise he's going to feel bad, and they probably got to put a lot of work into that. Whereas like more simple gods like Hercules or whatever are just going to be able to be implemented much easier. And that is really the priority right now. They want to get as many gods in the game as physically possible that will fill as many unique playstyles, and they don't necessarily want to put in, you know, double the amount of dev time into implementing something like Merlin or Arthur when they could be releasing 2 gods instead of just Arthur kind of thing. But yeah, Scylla, they've mentioned, is going to be coming shortly after first 50. She just has a lot of unique tech with the dogs and her walking animation and all that kind of stuff. Gilgamesh, the 2, we all saw Gilgamesh's 2 on release in SMITE 1. It was an absolute mess. It'll probably be the same in SMITE 2, so they probably want to be careful with that one. Arthur, I'm looking forward to a lot, but again, he's a stand switcher. They need to build out the tech for stand switchers, and they went with Ula first. I personally would have rather seen Arthur, obviously, but I can see why they went for Ula. Merlin, same argument, stand switcher. Marman, I don't think is going to be coming anytime soon, honestly. She's very unpopular. She's also very hated to play against a lot of the time. I love the god, personally. I think she could be really cool in SMITE 2, but I highly doubt we're getting Marman. You know, she's going to be bottom 50, I think. Janus is another one. Janus probably has a lot of unique tech with the portals to make those work and stuff like that on the new Conquest map. I doubt they have any of that tech assembled at the moment. And then Ao Kuang, similar to Marman, is probably going to be a little bit later in the roster. Probably not as late as Marman, because Ao Kuang is much more popular and more loved by the people that do play him. But yeah, Ao Kuang can be very frustrating to play against, but it would be cool to get at least one like dedicated magical assassin jungler into the game. It will probably be Ao Kuang, not Marman though. Actually, Shock Scylla isn't in the first 50, but besides that, I'm excited to play the game in January. Yeah, it's going to be really sick, absolutely. But yeah, Scylla, as I mentioned, she's got a lot of unique tech that it would take them a long time to implement, and they don't want to be implementing gods that would take, you know, an insane amount of time when they could just implement simpler ones to get the variety up as quick as possible. How is Merlin not on the list? I mentioned this again, he's a stand switcher, but one of the more complicated stand switchers. They probably want to get a simpler one like Ula into the game so that they can build out stand switching tech and then start adding stuff like Merlin and King Arthur. Pele, oh my god, it might be time. Yeah, I'm very excited about Pele myself personally. She's one of my favorite like fundamental junglers in SMITE 1. And hell, she can even play multiple roles. We've absolutely seen her in mid in the SPL and stuff like that. She's played solo on and off quite a bit throughout the years. Definitely going to be super exciting to play Pele. Hopefully they've got some cool +1s planned for her. Honorable mention to Tiamat, Gilgamesh, Cuchulainn, and Raven. Soon we shall meet again. Yeah, Tiamat, again, another one you're probably going to be waiting a while for. She's one of the more complicated gods in the game, and she's also very unpopular. So unfortunately, Tiamat mains, you're probably going to be waiting a while. Gilgamesh we talked about. Cuchulainn is one that I think probably could come very soon, though. I think the next stand switcher is probably going to be King Arthur or Cuchulainn. Maybe Merlin as well, but the next stand switching warrior at the very least is probably going to be King Arthur or Cuchulainn. They're both very popular. They're both very fundamental to the solo lane, so I think it will be either one of those 2. And Raven, yeah, I'm super excited about as well. Really basic, fundamental assassin that is super easy to play, but you can do some more complex stuff on him. And yeah, just a ton of fun. I'm super excited for Raven to come, honestly. All you need now is Tiamat and Cthulhu. Yeah, Cthulhu is another one. There's probably... Cthulhu probably has like the most amount of visual tech because you have to implement the madness, you have to implement his giant form, his model in general is very detailed. You've got stuff like the 2, like bringing something up in the sky or dropping stuff down. Like, there's probably a lot of unique tech for Cthulhu, so probably, I mean, obviously he's not in the first 50, but I probably wouldn't even expect him like too soon after the first 50. But he is incredibly popular, he is incredibly loved, he's popular in like pop culture outside of SMITE and stuff like that, so I do expect him to come relatively soon. I'm honestly sick right now, no sign of any of my mains outside of Medusa. This sucks. reworks. Yeah, there's going to be some people like this, unfortunately. There's only so much they can do. They can't just add all 130 gods within a week. And if you are that kind of player that only plays, you know, like 5 to 10 gods, there's a decent chance you might not get quite a lot of them for a while. Like, for me personally, I play like at least sort of 50 gods on a very regular basis. And so for me, like, even Smite 2's launch, I had a couple of characters that I was very interested in. And, you know, nowadays there's a lot more. You know, you've got stuff like Susano and Hercules and Armor and Mordred. There's a lot of characters that I love to play. But yeah, if you only made a few, you know, especially if you're like a one trick or whatever, you might be waiting a while. Unfortunately, it's just the reality. They can't get all 130 gods in like super quick. It's so back over. Yeah, Baka's going to be a while, I think. Baka's going to be a while. He is, like, reasonably popular-ish, but I think they'll probably end up adding Arachne before they add Bakasura in terms of auto-attack junglers. Probably Arachne and Kali, actually, before they add Baka. He's just historically caused so many balance problems, and he's, like, if he's ever overpowered, it is, like, the most unfun thing ever to play against him, especially with Smite 2's invade meta and stuff. He could just steal everything, get all the infamy. They have to be very careful when they add Baka if they aren't reworking him, so probably could be waiting a while. Honestly, I mostly want to know what gods are getting reworked. I imagine Charybdis will be one of the last to make the jump since I can't see her keeping her current kit, but who else? Yeah, reworks is interesting. They haven't said anything explicit on whether they will or will not be reworking gods on the Titan Talk. They've kind of danced around the topic. But the way they've talked about it, the tone, the words that they've used, it does sound like they really don't want to full kit rework any gods, which is very disappointing to me personally. I was really hoping this would be like a fresh start to kind of rework some of these characters that have been problematic in the game for like a decade at this point. I fully expect some minor reworks to come, you know, along the lines of like Odin's reworks and Thor's rework and stuff like that. Maybe Erlang, that kind of stuff. But I don't expect any kind of full reworks like we got in the old days, you know, like Vulcan and Nuwa and Nox and stuff like that. I just don't expect that. It's unfortunate. I really wish they would. I think the game will be a lot healthier if they fully rework some of these characters. Yes, you might piss off the mains of the characters, but in theory you won't. You know, in theory you can make a good kit that is still fun. But yeah, if you completely change the playstyle, it is gonna piss off some of the people that made that character. And it might sound harsh, but honestly, like that's kind of what you've got to do. You got to make the sacrifice of like a few people that might lose a god that they enjoy. They might even quit the game or whatever. You kind of have to make that sacrifice to make the game more enjoyable for like the 99% of other people that don't play that god but have to suffer playing against it. But yeah, I think we'll end it there. Just taking a quick look at this Reddit post, what the community thinks about the first 50 gods for Smite 2. And I guess at the end, I may as well give my own personal opinions on them. So, the Nemesis Izanami Khepri patch, I'm not super excited about, to be honest. Khepri's cool to get into the game. I'll probably end up playing some Nemesis. Izanami, I don't care for. Thor, Poseidon, Cupid patch is going to be super cool, though. Cupid, I don't care for, but Thor is arguably my maid. He's one of the most fundamental assassins in the game. He's super fun to play. And Poseidon, one of the most popular characters in the game, especially one of the most popular mages. And he could probably have some super interesting stuff with, like, attack speed and strength and crit and stuff that he wouldn't have had in Smite 1. Aphrodite, Pele, Medusa patch should be pretty decent as well. Aphrodite being in the game is just an inevitable necessity. I'd come to terms with it even before like Smite 2 was publicly announced that Aphrodite was probably going to be there very quickly. She's just super unique and super popular, and even though I hate playing against her, I'm fine with her being this early just because there are a lot of people that want her. Pele, as I've said earlier in this video, super excited for Pele. I think she's going to be really cool to play. And then Medusa, again, another really popular god, super popular hunter that's very loved. The all-new Smite 2 god I'm super excited about. Won't say any more than that. Ula should be really cool. I think it's cool that we're getting one of the higher skill cap gods in the game and also adding to that ability hunter repertoire. Agni, very fundamental mage. Super excited to see what +1s they've got for him and play a bit of him. Mulan, really fun as well. Super excited for Mulan. And Geb, it's really cool to get some like more backline supports in. Now that we'll have Geb and Khepri by the end of this January Wave 1. Going to be super cool. January Wave 2, Rama. I can't believe he wasn't in the game already. Like, we got Jingwei, Cernanos, and Anher before we got Rama. That's kind of crazy to me. Hun Batz, I've talked about already. Achilles, super excited for. Very flexible god, can play solo and jungle, even does occasionally play support. In Smite 2, who knows, maybe he'll play mid or something, I have no idea. But yeah, very excited to see what they give him for +1s, because he is a very compact kit that I think works super well and doesn't need much. I think it'll just be fun in general, but some +1s could be cool. Kabrakan, I'm actually pretty excited about, just because they could do some really interesting hybrid stuff with him, you know, maybe make like his 1 and his 2 scale off of strength, his 3 scale heavy off of int, and then make his ult scale off of both or something like that. Maybe even allow him to build a Hydras and Poly build. That'd be pretty cool. And then Vulcan is whatever. He's frustrating to play against, but he's pretty popular. It's fine. But yeah, there you go. That is my thoughts and the community's thoughts on the reveal of the first 50 Smite 2 gods. It's exciting, dude. It's exciting. I can't wait for the end of January when like this is complete. We'll have a good god roster in the game. We'll get to watch the Vegas tournament, and then they'll start doing things to other aspects of the game, conquest changes, new modes, all that good stuff. But yeah, what do you think personally about the roster? Leave a comment down below. I'll definitely be reading them all on this video. I'm always excited to read comments on this kind of a video because it's a very divisive topic and I'm interested to see what people think. But yeah, I will catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day and peace out, you nerds.